insane. And it looks like we are not too far away from jumping in to the draft. And there it is. We are just going to instantly get that Lucian ban straight out of here again. And we'll see, of course, what this penalty entails as we go further through the draft. So Wise is going to be taken out there for Team Chinese Taipei, and ball's going to be sent straight back over to Team Macau, China.
Doesn't look like it's going to be a...
They don't want to deal with the Aphelios again.
A ban penalty.
Completely understandable.
Yeah, I know that is a fair thing to sort of do, but, you know, again, I'm always a little bit hesitant to say I'm a super big fan of the ban against the ADCs, because, like, okay, he can't get Aphelios. What's he going to be able to get? He'll probably just play Jinx. It's like basically the same game, right? Hyper carry. He gets fed. He wins the game. Doesn't really matter whether you're on the Aphelios or the Jinx or the Zeri or anything like that at that point. I'm sure as an individual, Wacko is going to be able to play more than enough ADCs to be able to get some value. So I don't know if the issue was necessarily the champion so much as just the gap in the bot lane.
Well, they did get rid of that Zeri in the first draft, right? So it seems like they're potentially going to leave that open. No, okay, Team Chinese Taipei going to actually ban out the Zeri, and we'll see shortly which angle they're going for here. Stewie, what's he going to pick for us here? Looks like we're probably going to see something similar to what the first game showed us, if the bans rather, or anything to go by.
Yeah, wouldn't, again, be super surprised to see a Jinx getting picked up here somewhere early on in the draft. Cassante the choice for Team Macau, China, so straight back to standard fare up in that top lane. And of course, waiting for the response. You know, might actually just get picked up straight away here. Like, there's no reason, I think, not to go for a top laner here. You can keep the rest in check, unless, of course, you're trying to angle towards one of those power picks. And in this case, I suppose that is exactly what Yuumi is going to be.
Yeah, well, moving on. Sion's coming back again. Unfortunate for you, Elfman, but at the same time, it has been pretty damn good in the hands of Azure up top. Now, going back towards Team Macau, China, after Sion's been locked in, what are we going to see come through to try and complement the Cassante?
Question mark. Emilio. So once again, we're getting a very similar draft from these two teams, which I dare say is not going to be such a disappointment for Team Chinese Taipei. They've got the Yuumi. They've got the Sion, which is exactly the same as what they started with. The only change up really so far is the Cassante for the Ornn, but I think thematically and stylistically, that's really not going to make too much of a difference to the overall composition or the way that the game ends up playing out.
And we also got confirmation that there is going to be no penalty. It's just a warning of the penalty. So they probably won't do that again, and they won't be able to suffer a penalty. So draft is going to be unaffected, all things considered. Did you touch on the Cogmore?
Not yet. That's an interesting choice. That definitely changes things up. Obviously, about
the years back.
As hyper carry of a hyper carry as you can get. I mean, if you can get into the mid or late game with the Cogmore, then you're going to do pretty well. No Vi on the other side of the field to get right on top of that Cogmore, so I wonder what we are going to see as the choice to deal with that.
Yuumi Ez is... Did they commit?
Very interesting.
Look, it may be committed to.
Yeah, I'd say so. Well, it's a very, very slippery bot lane, that's what I can tell you, Mac. That's bot lane that if I'm a jungler, I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, I just don't want to gank that.
It's fast, it's jumpy, it's warpy. And I don't think anyone's going to get over the top. Your boy Ez. Okay. Back into the bans now. Sedge taken out of the equation. We can see that there's no jungle picked for Team Macau China just yet. And knowing that NH, look, he didn't have too much impact, maybe they're going to try to force him back onto that Viego because it didn't work super well for Team Macau China in the first one. So I'm thinking that that's the angle that Team Chinese Taipei are looking for.
Yeah, it could be if they can throw in a Wukong ban here somewhere.
They just don't want anything here that's going to be able to jump on and lock down that Cogmore, I guess. They want to keep him safe.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, you're looking for a mid laner and a jungler through here, so we haven't seen any mid lane bans. Ahri's definitely a possibility for Chinese Taipei. Getting on top of the Cogmore with the Spirit Rush. Viego does actually end up getting banned out by Team Chinese Taipei, which is a little bit surprising considering that was, you know, not a very big factor in the previous game.
Interesting that they've done that. Maybe they just want to see what his jungle pool can go down to. Maybe they feel like, look, Viego obviously can snowball, and he played it okay to the extent where he didn't die much.
Wow. Okay.
And
So
Wukong's gone. So
they've gotten rid of the Wukong essentially from NH, which means we really are limiting the jungle supply for both teams. But I mean, I suppose when you can pull out something like a Poppy, you know, out your hat, and
yeah.
I'm sure that it goes quite deep for Junjia.
If they can't lock down our boy Wacko down towards that bot lane, then yeah, things can certainly be difficult. Time ticking. Nocturne. I'm loving this one. Love a bit of Nocturne gameplay. Lights are going to go out this game. And I cannot wait to see what Junjia is going to be able to bring in. But what's the answer for Team Macau China here?
Great question. Zinzao.
Zinzao. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of throwing caution to the wind, it seems like, this game a little bit. It's going to be some highly volatile jungle gangs coming through. Both of these junglers are, you know, ones that really like to snowball. They like to get ahead. They like to be strong. I mean, good 1v1 potential for both the junglers as well. There is the Ahri. We were expecting the Ahri at some point to come through tonight.
I think as well, at least with the Zinzao there, we can potentially see a decent amount of disengage to stop that dive from the Nocturne. We are going to get that Emperor's Divide gameplay coming through with the lock onto the Azir again. Maple played that one perfectly in the game before, and it looks like we're just going to see the shuffle around. I dare say that these aren't going to be the lock-ins.
No. I think we'll go with the standard stuff. But yeah, just a highly volatile sort of mid-jungle matchup, it looks like here.
Yeah.
It'd be hard to imagine that down in the bot lane, Wacko and Woody are going to really struggle too much. They're on the Ezreal Yuumi, which is, like we've said, very safe bot lane. We might see a little bit of presence there from the Nocturne early on in the piece, but even there, you know, like, it's kind of difficult sometimes to get ganks off as a Nocturne pre-6. So I expect this will be a little bit more of an invade-heavy kind of a game. Maybe not quite as much presence put into the ganks, especially down bot.
Yeah, maybe they'll come from a different angle. You never know. Junjia was pretty creative with that burst pathing in game 1 of this series, so let's see what he's going to be able to do here. And personally, I'm taking notes as well, because I do love the Nocturne gameplay.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, sitting pretty on that red side again. Looks like that they are certainly going to come online as soon as they hit 6. Team Macau China, it has not looked nice for them this series. Let's see if they can put some spice into the recipe with this. Change up in the draft, change up in the champion composition, and I really, like, I hope for their sake that they can get this Kog'Maw online, that they can last long enough to get this Kog'Maw online.
I hope so too, mate, because I think it's going to be really tough to survive later on if you're behind. Right? Yeah. When you're playing against a Nocturne, you're playing against the Yuumi. Like, realistically, the Yuumi can actually sit on the Nocturne as well. Follow him through with the ultimate, and you've got two champions.
Make him extra sticky.
2 champions right on top of that Kog'Maw. You've got instant backline access for the Yuumi ultimate. Get that route across pretty much the entire team. Have the Emperor's Divide to follow it up.
Dangerous.
Very, very dangerous indeed. So, pretty important that Team Macau China don't get behind as quickly as they did last game.
Maybe, look, with the Cassante under their belt, it could spice things up towards the top side of the map. Maybe you can see a little bit more whacking going on. But we shall see. We certainly shall see. Time for the game. Let's see if anyone's going to get ambitious here. Defensive posturing for Team Chinese Taipei. Just making sure that there's going to be no invade on either side. And in terms of vision, no one has gone for anything just yet.
Wacko and Woody, both still looking to dictate this bot lane early on in the piece, and already a good amount of damage out onto Kono 9.
They're still going. Sea Lions whacking back straight away. And it looks like as well, I think Wacko got a little bit of extra money out of taking that fight as well, with the first strike being picked up.
Okay, am I going crazy here, Mac, or did they... they haven't swapped it in the the... I see what's going on. They haven't swapped the Milio and the Cogmore in the bottom right there in the items. So a little bit confused for a second. But we're all good. I thought maybe they forgot to swap champions or something. I was like,
the ordering of where they're sitting on the stage is actually, I think, slightly off.
Yeah,
so that's why things are a little bit confusing. But at least there's the portraits, you know, to keep you in check.
I mean, am I crazy, or was Ho99 not playing ADC last game?
I thought he was on the Milio because he got picked off multiple times. But yeah, the position that they are in is odd because on the graph at the end, they were in slightly different positions to usual because the Jinx was lined up. Not the Jinx. The Jinx was lined up in the support position. So you can figure that one out later. It
doesn't matter.
It's not super important right now. For the moment, it is going to be early level 2 popped by the bot lane. And again, they're just looking to constantly put this pressure on already. A third of a plate gone, and Wacko is hungry for those plates again. Chunk it away. Looks like we have seen a bot to top path coming through for Team Macau China. Trying to play towards the Kasante that's got a lot of lane prio right now. A real pushed up. And on the other side of things, Junja going top to bot with the full clear, of course, just trying to get to level 6 as fast as he possibly can. So there should be a handshake for those scuttles as well.
Yeah, I mean, that was not an awful trade, actually, there for Faith. He's got the Corrupting Potion, so has a little bit of extra sustain in this lane. And so can trade a little bit more aggressively, has a fair bit more mana to play with here over Maple. So it's a bit of a change-up, actually, over that matchup, which we did actually see in the first game as well. It was Ari versus Zia, but very quickly on in the piece, Maple got the early lead, and this time Faith seems to have adapted to that. Oh, and H might be in for a kill right here. Flashes over, but can't actually get the damage he needs as Maple will escape. Flash for flash, but that's an opening that maybe Team Macau China can try to take advantage of.
Yeah, couldn't hit the W, couldn't get the mark on him, and wasn't able to follow through for the final bit. But he's going to burn that flash real early, which could be dangerous in the long run. Keep in mind, though, Maple can certainly be a little bit more abusable with his flash down also. The poke game going down towards bot, but of course, you know, the warming fire is just going to heal Sea Lion on up, so he's going to be able to stay a bit more aggressive than probably what we saw before, but look at this position coming through from Junja. There is going to be that tri-bush ward to try and spot him out, but he's already just doing so much work. He's managed to get that scuttle in the meantime. We'll walk on vision, but again, this is looking like a copy and paste from last game. The double buffs, they're coming through. Hit a nice Q, but it's not quite enough to go for the full gank.
Either way, force the Ghost Flash heal. Once again, this is pretty much standard stuff. This is exactly what we saw in that first game. Early invade from Junja. In this case, he's actually taken some of the farm away from NH, as well as getting a successful bot gank. I mean, look at the difference, right? That NH, he spends a little bit of time in mid, just, you know, 10-15 seconds, and he's already down 16 CS.
He's thinking about it. He's finally cleared his own camp, but he's walked straight over Vision to go to the Raptors here. So you can see Maple very aware of that, dropping the ward over here just to track that jungle. And it looks like we are going to see Junja try to go and fight this. There's going to be that ward in the bush between T1 and T2, but it looks like he's happy just to go for the handshake, let that camp be gone. Now trying to devise the plan on what to do. You can see the bot lane as well, very low on resources, half HP for both of them, almost no mana left for Sea Lion. There's a nice charm there on a Maple who decides he wants to keep on taking this fight. Good chunk damage, and Faith just ain't hitting back.
Yeah, once you use your cooldowns on the Ahri, obviously Maple's going to try to look to push that advantage. Ahri's a very rotation-based champion. If you use the charm or you use the Q out of rotation, you really do lose a lot of your potential damage and a lot of your potential burst. You need to be using them in unison. So in that case, Maple just seeing the opening.
Okay. Stewie as well, going to be able to drop that TP back to lane, gets that cheat recall off to try to buff himself up. And that was at about the 5-minute 40-second mark. So next time he can use the TP, it will be unleashed. It looks like that's being implemented by Ashy as well. Oh, down towards the bot lane. Huge damage. Nice little poke there on a Wacko, who's now in a pretty dangerous place. NH is here, and not too far away is Junja as well, but he's looking over towards that mid lane, might get caught on the Raptors. There is going to be vision to try and stop this rotation in through the river.
Yeah, I'm just watching Junjie once again farming up his opponent's jungle, and I've got to be seeing level 6 pop up fairly shortly. He has got so much farm. He should be really accelerated, and yeah, indeed, hits 6 straight away, and so now can actually start to look for ganking angles.
Oh, he spotted it. Info goes both ways. His bot lane isn't quite back in lane, so we'll take the safe approach. Mid lane tracked on the map too. Faith didn't go for that rotation, and the control ward over near the Raptor camp is going to give a world of info. Oh, he spotted that red buff. NH not going for it just yet, but they are aware that there is a lot of danger lurking around the jungle here. And you can see that there is more vision coming through from Team Chinese Taipei in the blue side jungle than from Team Macau China.
More respect given over to Junjie. It doesn't look like NH really wants to contest this, but he kind of has to, right? You can't keep giving over these minor advantages that are going to continue to snowball. Otherwise, it's going to end up feeling exactly like the same as last game, where NH really had no impact at all. He's just getting jungle gapped like crazy.
Mountain Drake on the platter. Has been up for a small while now, but it looks like they aren't too worried about the objective. Still just playing the farming game. It looks like you can see there has been a ping across from Faith to at least clear and see what's going on over towards the Drake.
Well, it's Farm City in mid and top. Not much going on there.
Oh,
but
big
the
damage
is growing in bot and jungle.
I don't think Hao noticed that his back got cancelled. I think he was
What about
lucky
a
to
true
be
shot
alive.
barrage, Mac?
Oh, the ult's online, and it's not going to connect here. So, nice safe off to the side recall. I love the surprise of the lights going out as well. Thanks, observers, for that one.
Yeah, that was good. That was good stuff. I mean, good choice of recall positioning, not sitting in the middle of the lane. True shot barrage does go awry. I mean, this has been better. It's definitely been better from Team Macau China. I think you can take some positives, but even still, you can see that they are finding themselves at a deficit in multiple positions on the map. Here's another one that's going to continue to compound as Junjie will trade a dragon for a blue buff.
Yeah, but
I mean, the Rift Herald has started, yes, but that was on vision, and I don't know if he's going to get that before Junjie is finished off with the dragon. Maple's going to go up there and have a bit of a look. He's shoved his wave in. He's got Prio, and remember, Nocturne has level 6.
Oh, okay, Emperor's Divide. He's going to go for the fight instead. Faith is lucky to be alive if he even gets away. Oh, the dot. It's not going to finish him off. Heal a little too strong there, and Faith will survive.
Yeah, Faith, I mean, he could have definitely died to Junjie if he would have ulted in there, but I don't know if the range was quite there, and even had that happened, Junjie then is really in a bit of an out-of-position type situation. So he ends up just milling around the bot side jungle, and he's going to have a look at bot instead.
Are the lights finally going to go out? It looks like he's getting ready for it, but we'll focus the Krugs first. How? I'm going to spot this one out now, and now they know that they are certainly in trouble.
Oh, they might actually collapse onto Junjie here.
Okay.
Does have that blast cone to get out, and plenty of vision as well in the bot side jungle here for Team Chinese Taipei. They were all over that. Never mind.
Yeah, that's it. They just have such a strong vision game right now that they know where they can be, where they can't be, and they had a good read on NH, who was also just doing that Herald, so there was certainly space to farm up a little bit of a storm. Wacko going to be chunked down to about a third of health here. Probably the most dangerous point we've seen, but he knows that Junjia's not too far away. Will have that ult to jump across if they want. But there's no gank angle coming through from Team Macau China.
Well, this is that situation I was telling you about in the previous game, Mac. If you're using your heal on that Yuumi and you're trying to keep yourself topped up in lane, you do tend to run out of mana pretty quick. So actually the advantage is with the Team Macau China bot lane for the moment, but recall getting secured for Wacko, and Woody is going to get them back into healthy levels pretty quick smart. They did a good job of pushing that wave in as well before they decided to recall. So not going to lose too many creeps off of that base. Good stuff.
Well, what's going down here? Looks like it's the handshake reset on the wave state up towards the top side, and both the big tanky gentlemen are going to be able to buy up.
Yeah, very slow and steady game actually so far. Team Chinese Taipei just taking the consistent route.
Yeah. Sunfire Cape's going to be purchased.
11 minutes in last game, we were saying game's pretty much over.
Yeah.
Wacko had like 8 or 9 turret plates. He was already up in the top lane. Bot tower was gone. Top tower was about 2 plates left. This game has played out a little bit slow. I think that, you know, you can kind of expect that when you've got the Ezreal with the Yuumi. It's not going to be quite as easy to find those kills. Plus, we have to wait for Junjia to really have an impact with this Nocturne, and we were waiting for level 6. So far, we haven't even actually seen an ultimate come through just yet.
Yeah, that's confusing. I thought they'd be trying to use that on cooldown, just, you know, constantly putting out the aggro.
There's a chance.
And they're thinking about it. There's vision. NH could be in trouble. He's not too far away either. Let's see if Maple's going to be able to come in on this one. Looks like the ult might not even need to be invested.
But you can already see
hits him.
you can already see Woody sitting on top of Junjia, so that's something that we might expect to see a little bit later on in the game. Or even if Waco is feeling very comfortable down in that bot lane, the Ezreal is certainly an AD carry that you can kind of just leave and say, you know, you're self-sufficient, mate. You can do whatever you need to do. I'm going to sit on the jungler. We're going to try to have some impact in the game.
Yeah.
And, well, just play safe, or in this case, just farm your opponent's tower. That's fine too, I guess. Waco getting away with so much.
Oh,
Two-shot barrage just for some more damage.
There's a nice little shield there at that moment. But in the meanwhile, again, the Yuumi now just going to be jumping onto Junja, so he can try and make something happen. It might be the ult finally invested in the mid lane. No, he's going to rotate bot instead. Looks like there's action going on in both lanes at the same time. A little bit of a solo bolo at mid, but Sea Lion going to be poked out. And now is an opportunity. Nice shot. The skill shot is not going to be dodged. Fast feet not quite there for Sea Lion, and he's gone down. Oh, and there's going to be follow through too on Vision. Gets big damage onto NH, forces him away, and now this might be this first tower found at the 13-minute mark.
That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. That's perfection from your Ezreal. That's exactly what you want to be seeing, you know. He's pretty much gotten that one done on his own. I mean, Woody was there in a sense as well to help out.
Poking for so long.
Yeah, exactly. And, I mean, Sea Lion's not going to be very happy with that, going down there. It's not good, right? When Ho could have tanked that shot, or he could have just walked a bit further away, he's just sort of indecisive and ultimately ends up getting finished off in the end. So, it is what it is. Well, this should never be allowed.
Yeah, this certainly should never be allowed. What a bloody read, though.
That is an illegal death. And first blood as well.
Asleep at the wheel. And that's more money going over to Chinese Taipei that you did not want. Especially on the individual that you want to scale as good as possible, but there's almost a 40 CS gap there that should slightly change now. A few more plates going to be at least found by Team Macau China as they get that Herald charge off on top. Won't be the whole turret though, as it feels like in none of these lanes, all these towers for the red side have just been so healthy.
Pretty much. Dragon's going to be the option of choice now. Team Chinese Taipei, they've already got one in the books. Look to pick up a second. They really have got the run of things right now, don't they, on Summoner's Rift? They can pretty much work their way through the map, go anywhere that they really do want. It seems like Junjia kind of considers NH's jungle his own, because he's been in there pretty much more than his opponent has been.
Yeah, his camps have certainly not been on cooldown. And again, look, every single one of these skill shots that hits, Waco is just playing around the vision so well. Again, that has to be illegal.
Yeah, I mean, especially when Kal99 is so healthy, right? You need to be getting in front of some of those shots and tanking it for your ADC. Like, yeah, I know he's not in a great spot. You're playing a losing battle, but at least he won't die.
Got Hex Gates online as well. I've seen a couple of Hex Tech souls so far for this tournament, and I love to see it. Nice fast rotations. Certainly helps out those teams that end up back at base, you know, whether by deciding to reset or dying. Lets them get back out in time. True Shot Barrage, again, just to thin out the wave, and that's probably just going to be used constantly on cooldown by Waco. Again, it's going to be Herald City. No bounties going to be found just yet from Team Macau China, as Team Chinese Taipei are going to take this one uncontested. Yeah,
it's honestly pretty crazy the amount of times that the Ezreal Yuumi lane, this game has been able to find the push against Kog'Maw Milio. I mean, Ezreal Yuumi shouldn't really be finding the push against anyone. But they were just so behind from the outset that Ko and Woody have been able to scale into this game quite nicely. Now you've got that Manamune finished off. It's just starting to spiral out of control. It's taken a little bit longer than it did in game one.
Yeah.
But we're at that point now where it's starting to hit critical mass. You've got a 2 items Ezreal. You're starting to get items completed on mid and jungle as well. And I mean, Junjia has not even altered this entire game. Oh, he ulted one time. All right, let's
Okay.
just, you know, if we want to go for technicality, all right. But he hasn't gotten a kill with it. You know, hasn't had much of an impact.
I feel like the value of the ult, like, it's just the pressure of knowing it's there, has been more than enough to just put that seed of doubt in the heads of Team Macau.
But what I'm trying to say is it's like it's been a slow burn. It hasn't been anything explosive for Team Chinese Taipei, and yet they find themselves in such a dominant position. 5k up, and it's going to be more when this tower goes down as well.
And we're going to see a second charge for sure here. That wave is going to be cleared instantly by Maple. Although Junja goes back to the jungle, so...
No, but he's still there. You think about it, right? It's exactly what you just said. He's still got ultimate.
Okay.
There's that ever-present threat. There's no way Tui is going to walk up. So another Rift Herald charge goes through onto the Tier 2 top tower. Faith, Spirit Rush over the wall. Wacko easily able to Arcane Shift out of that. And yeah, turn the lights off just to ensure that things are safe there. It's more of a defensive usage of that Nocturne ultimate rather than an aggressive offensive push.
Yeah, it's definitely odd to watch, considering how I've seen Nocturne used competitively in the past. As he's going to take a lot of attention, which will allow that second tower to go down up towards the top side. And it's, again, just Team Macau trying to find something anywhere and then not finding anything, and Team Chinese Taipei just constantly finding little wins. Stoey going to be going right in, having a new possibility. That's big. Ult's going to be working out for him. And finally, we see Team Macau trying to make something happen for themselves, as he is going to be able to live here. Has that movement speed from the Yuumi, who's going to be jumping around. Junja gets a little bit dangerous, won't have the ult online, but he will be able to stand under the tower.
Oh.
Surely there is no chance at a dive. Somehow he's managed to pick up another onto Sea Lion. Oh my lord.
Maple with the TP.
He's going to be able to TP in, look for the flank angle, and he's got more than enough damage to make this happen. See you later, NH. That's not worked out for you. How as well, looking to be the bait to save the rest of the team, and that might not even work out for him.
It was looking good. It was looking good for a moment for Team Macau China. Honestly, I was thinking, okay, actually, this Cogmor's kind of got some damage.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, unfortunately, they do just push it a little bit too far. Sea Lion goes down to the Q from the Nocturne, which is, you know, probably not, you know, that's probably not acceptable. But we'll start the replay off, and, you know, pretty good engage, actually, all things considered. Great stuff from Tui, gets in there, catches the Ezreal, he can't move, stunned, pretty much perma CC'd. He gets stunned into Charm, dead, and then at that point, Sea Lion, you think, oh, he might just get RC as well there, but... Ooh. This is the problem. This is where things start to turn around.
Is it the snipe with the Q?
It's the snipe with the Q. Oh. And like that's just...
Max range too.
I mean, it's a slow moving projectile. You should be dodging that every day of the week. You should be knowing that you're quite low and you shouldn't be going anywhere near it.
Yeah.
And when he goes down, when Sea Lion goes down, that's when Team Chinese Taipei is actually looking at that fight and going, you know what, actually there's a TP angle here. We might be able to turn this even further. And they do. And here we go. Junjia right in on top of Faith. Ultimately doesn't result in a kill just yet, but Wacko being here as well. Ooh. There's the Yuumi ultimate. Faith does still have a couple of Spirit Rush stacks, so gets out okay. And we're all good in the end, but Team Chinese Taipei very much in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
Where's Sion going?
Rocking up the kilometers for sure. And Sion going to be able to match this rotation to top. Stoey going to try to get rid of the tower there, but it looks like it's not going to happen just yet. And in the meanwhile, it's a 3v2 at bot, well, 3v3 rather. We get Yuumi Exist just sitting there along for the ride. Junja, meanwhile, just going to be farming up the Hextech Drake and looking to put themselves on soul point. So this game could go long enough to maybe get an Elder Drake, depending on how the rest of the next 5 minutes goes. I guess 10 minutes. But yeah, almost a 10k gold lead now, hitting towards the 20-minute mark, and there's not a lot of presence on the map for Team Macau China, so it feels like once this Baron gets secured, and it looks like that might be where Team Chinese Taipei are aiming to try and force a team fight, the game might end quite quickly.
Yeah, looking pretty one-sided. Odds are going to favour it as well, 77% on the live win tracker for Team Chinese Taipei. Alright, straight over to the Baron pit. Bit of information there for Macau China, but Chinese Taipei are not going to look to take the Baron just yet. They'll take the map control first. Get that vision control in your opponent's jungle, make it really awkward for them to walk through this blue side.
Yeah.
And that's going to take time for Team Macau China. I mean, Faith is down in bot, has got TP, so I guess you've got that argument to make, but this looks like it should be pretty much a free Baron for Team Chinese Taipei, I'll say.
See what they're going to be able to do here. And it looks like it's going to be completely uncontested. See you later, Nash. And Team Chinese Taipei just got that much scarier.
Yep. I mean, what are you going to do, right? You have no vision in your jungle. When you do start to establish some vision, lights go dark, you can't see anything. They've been on the Baron for a good 15 or 20 seconds at that point. You know it's a couple of hits away from being finished off, so you have no choice but to turn around. And again, it's just like, it's those small advantages that Team Chinese Taipei continue to add onto their side, and they're really compounding now. Faith might have overcommitted a little bit here, has to go underneath Junjia's turret. That is the wrong direction to be heading in. Yeah, and even though you are an Ari, you're not going to be escaping a Nocturne. Not once you get feared.
He's so sticky. Yeah, that fear was just so strong. It forced Faith to tank another tower shot than he thought he needed to, and that just made things way too hard. And even though, look, Ari's supposed to be quite mobile, it's supposed to be one of those champs that is able to escape. It just could not. It just could not. Junja, too quick at the moment, too much of a lead, and now we're just going to see this Baron buff used to its fullest, and the advantage constantly getting pushed. 12k gold, the deficit now for Team Macau, China, and this base might be at a deficit as well. It's being crumbled everywhere. Bottom lane's going to get worked on as well by Junja in the meanwhile, and there goes that inhib. Team Macau, China, they just cannot fight here. They just can't do anything. They can't defend.
Yeah, pretty much, and that's been the story of this entire game. This entire match, Mac, has been just compounding results for Team Chinese Taipei. Slowly but surely, they've gained those advantages. They've turned them into really big leads.
This is certainly something. All three inhibs all gone at once. And the wave's now all in sync, and there we go. Finally an aggressive ultimate use. Junja trying to bait him out. He will give his life for the cause, so maybe we won't see the game end here and now, but we'll see what Team Chinese Taipei can do. More towers taken. What's that? 6, 7, 8, and maybe even 9 if they can take this Nexus 2. Okay. Yumi ult going to be used to try to lock him down. No one will get rooted just yet. Stoey going to be quite dangerous, and Hate untouchable right now, at least in the ult for the moment, but they're not going to find any more. Emperor's Divide to close. Surely this is it. The ace is almost there. Sea Lion, there he goes. He's gone. And that is going to be game, set, and series.